Afternoon, everyone. My name is Bob Whitman. I get the chance to lead Franklin Covey. How many of you work in an organization the success of which depends on humans? If you're in a circumstance anywhere in the world in more than 125 countries where your organization wants to achieve progress that requires a change in human performance or human behavior, you are a potential Franklin Covey client. Franklin Covey's whole focus is on problems, the solution to which require a large-scale or even individual or large-scale change in human behavior. Our mission is a simple one. It says to enable greatness in people and organizations everywhere. And that statement, developed by more than 1,000 of our associates a few years ago, really affirms two great truths that we believe are at the heart of human behavior. One is that the potential for greatness really does exist within individuals and within teams and organizations. And that affirmation is an important one, that really the potential is there, but then the second part is harder, and that's where we spend most of our time, is that potential which exists can be systematically unleashed and focused on the important problems through the application of the appropriate principles, practices, tools, etc. Let me give you an example. Let's say you're the head of a major lodging company. You're stuck, everybody's got good guest satisfaction, but you're stuck with all the other major lodging companies and can't break through on guest satisfaction. Achieving that depends, on having better, literally millions and millions of better interactions with customers, depending on hundreds of thousands of your people to do something different or better or more consistently. Example one. Second, you're the head of a technology company, and you're trying to sell big outsourced, data services and outsourced, just data capabilities. And again, you're not winning these big outsourced engagements. You know that it's somehow the interaction with your people. You don't know what else to do because you've got a great offering, but you're trying to break through on that. Or third, you're the principal of a school, a magnet school, who's just been told by the superintendent or the district superintendent that if you can't turn things around, you've got low success rate, low standardized test scores, low attendance, low graduation rates. If you can't turn it around, your school is going to be demagnetized. So those are the kind of challenges that Franklin Covey helps deal with. The first, Marriott. 7 years ago, Marriott decided that they wanted to break loose from Starwood then, which is now part of Marriott, as you know, Hilton, Hyatt, and the others in guest satisfaction. The whole industry was stuck at 73. They engaged Franklin Covey, and through our execution methodology, 9,000 leaders throughout all the Americas were trained in a process called 4 disciplines of execution. How to engage people's hearts, actions, and the best they have to offer against delivering for customers. 9,000 people were certified. The portal was implemented every Monday at 10 o'clock Eastern. By that time, every team throughout Marriott has made their weekly commitment. On Friday, those commitments are reviewed. A commitment might be perfect rooms at the Marriott Marquis Hotel in New York, 1,600 rooms, something like that. A couple of years ago, I was invited to attend with the CEO of Marriott. They were celebrating the 1 millionth team commitment kept. So perfect rooms is 1 million, and this year they're celebrating 7 million, and in the process have moved 500 basis points ahead of all their competition on guest satisfaction. The second is Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, trying to win these big outsourced data services agreements and the training of the sales force. Franklin Covey was engaged using our methodology called Helping Clients Succeed, that changes the mindset of salespeople and skill set from selling something to a customer to helping American Airlines win with its customers. And looking through this multi-stage complex sales process This methodology was rolled out, and the number of large engagements and retained engagements went up so measurably that it was then rolled out throughout the entire world. Third is a company called A.B. Combs Elementary School that was, in fact, about to be demagnetized. It had very low national and state standardized test scores, very low attendance, high disciplinary referrals. In a matter of 5 years, it became the #1 magnet school, #1 charter school in the United States. It's won that several times, and now there are 3,000 schools like it who engage our education division to try to change, to have every student become a leader, to take responsibility for themselves. They conduct their own student-teacher conferences. Every student has a leadership responsibility. So these kinds of issues that require large-scale change in human behavior is really what Franklin Covey is about. That's progressed from a time when you may have known Franklin Covey as the Planner Company or the 7 Habits. We were both of those things, and proudly so, because each of those focused on creating habits of personal effectiveness. But recognizing that a lot of times you can have a lot of effective individuals and not have an effective organization, we began about 15 years ago, 16 years ago, we exited the products business, and we no longer sell planners. You can get them through a license with Staples and others, but focused our full attention on developing solutions that help organizations and those responsible for developing organizations or for their performance to achieve this success. And so today, we would say that we'd like to think that we have the world's best content and solutions for developing leaders and driving organizational performance, whether that's a school or an organization like Marriott. We deliver these through, we've made investments of more than $150 million so that all those solutions can be delivered seamlessly from an almost limitless collection or any combination of delivery modalities in 16 languages across the world through state-of-the-art secure portal. We've transitioned to a business, a B2B subscription model, not because we care about that model from a shareholder standpoint, but it's because it's a great way for clients to engage. They get the total collection of all of our content available when they need it and where they need it. At this point, we have now gone recently over 500,000 paid subscribers to that service, and recognizing that it's really fundamentally changing the job of those responsible for developing leaders. We try to focus on 3 things in terms of, we're in an industry that is highly fragmented. There are a lot of brilliant people in our industry, but they don't have the ability to scale their brilliance. It might be the professor at Montana State University who's developed a tremendous course, trains 30 little companies around, maybe around the university, or not so little companies, but doesn't have the resources to get that content to the world, or to productize it, or get it so it could be trained. That person, if they've got the best content in the world, we'd love them to be our partner. And now their content might be part of our All Access Pass around a specific topic. Clayton Christensen from the Harvard Business School, his total collection of innovation content is now becoming part of the All Access Pass and things that we can offer to an organization. So our commitment is to ensure that whatever that best content is around the most important problems you're trying to solve, we metaphorically call it serum. 100 years ago, George Merck observed, he said, the Merck's mission was to identify the 10 to 12 largest, most intractable health problems in the world and develop solutions for those. In a similar way, we at Franklin Covey have tried to identify the big intractable human performance problems and develop solutions to those that can be delivered seamlessly across the world. So that's our first pillar. The second is flexible delivery, so you can get it where you need it, when you need it. And the last is broad distribution, so we can reach the world. In organizations, many of whom are global today, they want to have that ability, if they're going to train their people and to build those capabilities and run the system similarly across the world. And so today, go back. Today, so we have 27 different solution areas, more than 15,000 new client engagements every year, 26,000 digital files, so you can have this in any format. We also have our own group of about now just over 200 facilitators and coaches that can help our clients implement this, and another 100 or so in education. And then we have broad distribution across the world through a combination of our own 225 or so salespeople that reach out to organizations, as well as a licensee network that covers pretty much every country in the world. So I mentioned here, what we're doing every day is trying to find what are the problems our clients have, and make sure we identify the best content in the world, whoever happens to have it, work out a licensing agreement where we'll invest millions behind that product to help make it so that it can be scaled and taught throughout the world. And that's what we do today. The advantage of that is that for us, if we were in the film production business, we wouldn't be in the producing for TV movies, even though that may be great. We'd be in the blockbuster film business, and what we're really trying to do is make sure it's the best content. So we have, for us, the standard is this should be something that is literally or could arguably be the best content in the world, and if so, and it's positioned against a large problem, it ought to be something big. And so in our industry, we have today essentially the only billion-dollar brands that really are where 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, or our time management offerings, multi-$100 million. And that's just talking about impact, where millions of people are affected by what we do. This idea, we recognize that the people we serve have big responsibilities in their organization, and it's a tough job. If you're the head of learning and development at a large organization, you've got probably 20 to 25 different populations for whom you're responsible. You're being your own general contractor. Any of us who has done that at our home knows that's not a lot of fun. And you're trying to pull together the best content. It doesn't fit in a framework. And so we decided several years ago to combine it all, where you get the whole collection of all of the content available with almost unlimited delivery flexibility in 16 languages across the world through this portal, with an implementation specialist who's assigned to you at no additional cost to help you navigate and organize the content around the problem so you don't have to be your own general contractor. And with some additional add-on services, if you want to push this deep in a senior management team, we've got the people to help you do that. And so that's been a big change in our model. It's also allowed us to have more impact in our clients. Today, whether it's schools or organizations, well over 90% of our revenue repeats every year. Our clients have a lot of services that they find as we try to identify challenges they have with which we can help them. And they have, they can go from an individual going through a course online to an entire team like Marriott's going through a whole new solution. And we try to organize so that we can scale to meet the needs, whether it's a governmental entity, a school, or a corporation around the world. We have, micro-learning that we acquired recently, a company called Jhana, that pushes out this, broad library of content. The idea here is that everyone deserves a good manager. And in addition to courses they may go through, every Wednesday you get the Jhana Weekly with tips. You can click on one of those tips. It can take you to a module to learn about it. It can take you to a course or a blog. But it allows you to decide how you want to engage with the client individually, even though you may also be part of a group that's going through an organized effort. So we've got quite a lot of paid subscribers, and this just kind of identifies where we play. If the typical person responsible for developing people has responsibilities for general employee training and development, skills building, etc., but their big opportunity is to develop leaders who get results, and sometimes to engage in a major strategic initiative like at Marriott, driving a major business outcome. We play in this upper part. We certainly do a lot of stuff on the individual effectiveness space, with 7 Habits of Highly Effective People and time management, project management, writing and speaking skills. But really our major focus is on developing leaders who lead in a way that engages people, their minds and hearts and their best efforts, and also gets results. We also, years ago, committed, that it's not enough to build capabilities. We want to be the connection between those capabilities and outcomes. So an organization not only can say, well, hey, I'll have better athletes, but I'm still not winning games, that they can engage us like Marriott or Hewlett-Packard or others to say, not only do we want to have great, real capability and engagement, that's got to translate into outcomes. And so that idea of taking, effective individuals led by great leaders, but bringing their efforts together so that they actually win the games. That's the real focus of what we do around the world. And so at this point, with the exception of countries under U.S. embargo, those few countries in the world, basically we have a presence either directly or through a large licensee network in almost every country in the world. And it's pretty close to true that today if somebody engages us, they can impact that, they can implement it seamlessly across the world, whether it's a meeting with the Minister of Education in India trying to figure out how to get to 746,000 K through 12 students, or schools, just schools alone, 746,000 schools in India, or it's having an impact in sub-Saharan Africa, small organizations trying to figure out how they compete when they're trying to just have the fundamentals of leadership. Those are all challenges that our team likes to take on. So I'd be happy to, at this point, maybe just to say that we think we've got a great opportunity. Let me just get past the slides. Answer any questions that you'd like to for 2 minutes. Thanks. Yes, thank you.
Content that you're taking from third parties, how do you clarify or qualify what's a good fit and what's not?
Yeah, so thanks. So for us, we have a framework. We want it to make sure it's principle-based so that it'll go on, that it's consistent with the values that we have around engaging the hearts, minds, and total capabilities of individuals, and that it's enduring content that'll be here 20 years from now impacting. So it has to be something like this. A departure from just behavior, for example, is our innovation content from Clayton Christensen. But those principles of disruption and innovation, we think will be here 25 years from now, and that we can continue to build on that. And so it really is it enduring? Is it impactful? Is it something that will hit heart and mind and be able to be something that can be engaged by an organization? Thanks very much for the question. Yes, thanks. We do. We really think there's a lot of opportunity there. And so part of our learning and development group, our innovations group we call it, is looking at partnerships in AI and other things all the time. And we would welcome that. So we have a constant stream of really smart people coming to our headquarters to tell us about new ways that we could disseminate this to the world. So we'd love that chance. Thank you very much.